UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human.
The questions now are, who's controlling these UAP, where do they come from, and what is their intention?
This sounds, it's hard for everybody to digest.
Multiple drones have been sneaking into European countries. They have been spotted over strategic locations like airports and military bases. No one knows where they're coming from. No one knows who is launching them, and no one knows what the end goal is. Like I said, it's a silent and mysterious threat. And the latest victim is Brussels. On Tuesday, drones were spotted over the Brussels airport. At 8 p.m. local time, air traffic was halted. All flight operations at Brussels were stopped. No takeoffs, no landings. This led to major disruptions in travel plans. A lot of passengers ended up bunking inside the airport.
Very much. I'm Ukrainian, and I'm very much concerned that now in the heart of Europe we can see drones flying out of nowhere, and we have no means to prevent that or to fight that back for now.
I'm totally speechless because I have never came across these type of situations. So this is something new for me. But let's just hope for the best. This is the best that I can say right now.
John, European NATO allies have logged 14 sightings of unidentified drones in just 2 months. Another example of how drones are becoming a global menace, especially near military installations. The latest incident occurred above Belgium's Klein-Brugel Air Base, reportedly home to U.S. tactical nukes. The unmanned drone reportedly hovered over a Belgian tactical fighter aircraft base for 2 nights, from November 1st through November 3rd. The site houses Belgium's F-16 fleet and will soon host its new F-35A fighters. The incident is reminiscent of the drone sightings over U.S. bases like Langley Air Force Base last year. According to Belgian authorities, these drones came in 2 waves. First, small drones that tested the radio frequencies, and then larger drones that drew concern from the public designed to create panic. Belgium's Defense Minister, Theo Franken, confirmed multiple drones were spotted over the NATO-linked base last weekend. Quote, a drone jammer was used, but without success. A helicopter and police vehicles pursued the drone, but lost it after several kilometers. Franken said he suggested the flights may have been part of a spying operation. The threat isn't confined to Europe. Similar drone incursions have been reported over U.S. bases, including Camp Pendleton in Southern California last December, and repeated sightings in New Jersey last year, raising alarms about surveillance, espionage, and the limits of counter-drone defenses. 8 days after the inauguration, after suggesting otherwise, the White House tried to assure the public that the drones seen over U.S. military bases were not sent by an adversary.
After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
But in Belgium, the defense ministry is not so sure.
Everyone supposes it's Russia, and I do as well. And then, why are they doing it? What they want to provoke with this? It's strange and a bit worrying.
It's unclear if any of the most recent sightings could be linked to Moscow, but back in September, NATO aircraft shot down a swarm of Russian drones that had crossed into Poland's airspace.
As of now, some flights have resumed, but operations are not back to normal. The question is, what happened? Who fired these drones? That's what Belgium is wondering too. Today, their government held an emergency meeting. Belgium's defense minister called these drone sightings intentional and disruptive.
We see that it is coordinated in time and space. These are not all coordinated actions in time and space. It is intentionally disruptive. It often happens at the same time, the darkest moment of the day, just after dusk, just before the stars appear. It is then pitch black.
Officially, Belgium is not blaming anyone.
Is the government covering up alien life? Well, it's definitely interesting that they are denying access to members of Congress that are asking the very basic questions, and why can't we see some of these classified videos and information that seem to be operating under a black congressional budget. So it's definitely made an interesting conversation and topics, but I think that everyone should tune into the documentary. I know, to my knowledge, that Secretary of State Marco Rubio is actually on there. This is one of the biggest bipartisan and bicameral investigations that we've had thus far, and I think my biggest issue is that if this is an issue of national security, you also have the appropriations aspect where you have Congress that's not being given access to money that we're spending. I think that that's a big problem. The American people should ask questions, and you shouldn't be called crazy simply because you're inquiring, right? We want to get rid of wasteful spending. Well, what the heck is the Pentagon doing?
The interceptor drones have emerged as one possible deterrent as the EU scrambles to figure out how to respond to a series of mysterious drone sightings across the bloc. Since September, sightings at airports in Denmark, Germany, Norway, and Belgium have forced airports to temporarily close. Most recently, at the International Airport in Brussels on Wednesday, drone sightings overnight forced it to cancel dozens of flights, stranding hundreds of passengers.
We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours.
They have both deactivated and activated nuclear weapons with both the United States and Russia.
These are otherworldly things that are performing maneuvers that haven't been seen.
The UAP activity surrounding nuclear weapons is not a historic issue. It's an ongoing issue.
Well, joining us now to talk about his new film, The Age of Disclosure, is director and producer Dan Farah. He says the documentary reveals an 80-year cover-up of non-human intelligent life and a secret war among major nations to reverse engineer advanced technology of non-human origin. The film will be released in select theaters in New York, Washington, and Los Angeles on November 21st. Also available worldwide to purchase and rent on Prime Video. Dan, thanks for being here. You've been working on this for more than 3 years, and you say this is going to be a groundbreaking documentary.
Yeah. I interviewed 34 extremely high-level military, government intelligence officials who all have direct knowledge of this issue. Much of what they know is classified, but in this film they break their silence on what they can lawfully disclose.
I mean, there's a lot of skepticism, as you know. There's a lot of stigmatism about this issue. But as you're talking to all of these people and you're building these blocks for this movie, you get to the point where it's not a matter of if it's happening or if it's real.
Yeah. So every single person I interviewed made it very clear that it was no longer a question of whether this was a real situation. It's a very real situation.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone. Non-human intelligence exists.
UAPs are real.
And there are people in this film who are respected in their fields who say they have seen these craft and have seen the recovered non-human bodies.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
They go on the record about the fact that there have been crashed craft that have been recovered. In some cases, there's been non-human bodies in these craft, they claim. And these are people who are putting their reputation and their names on the line. You know, often you hear people say, show me the evidence. In my opinion, 34 extremely credible people putting their name and reputation on the line is the best evidence, because we live at a time where you can put a video or a photo out and half the people out there will say it's fake or AI.
AI and everything else. The title is Age of Disclosure, and do you think that this is going to start something bigger? The premise of this is that there is a race to reverse engineer what has been recovered by different countries, essentially competing against one another.
Yeah. So one of the big reveals in the film that a number of the interview subjects share is that elements of the U.S. government are in a high-stakes secret Cold War race with adversarial nations like China and Russia to reverse engineer technology of non-human origin.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
China has established its own version of a UAP task force.
You think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
We won the atomic race, and we used the bomb to end World War II, and we became the definitive superpower for the next 100 years as a result. The fear here is that if another nation wins this race, it could really change the lay of the land in terms of power.
But for the people who are still skeptical, still can't get their head around it, they're going to watch this, maybe they'll have their eyes opened, but many might ask, why now? Why is it happening now?